I know the depths of despair, the kind that pulls you under, leaving you feeling broken, abandoned, and lost. I know the kind of pain that gnaws at your soul, where you lie awake in the dead of night, crying out into the void, hoping pleading for just a whisper, a sign, something to hold on to. I know what it feels like when the silence answers back, leaving you hollow and alone. But listen to me closely, because I stand here today as living proof of a truth you may not yet see. The night is not your end. In fact, it is just the beginning. The night may feel unrelenting, and the pain you're enduring may feel like it will never subside. But the very fact that you're still breathing, still fighting, means there is a fire within you, a divine spark that has not and will not be extinguished. That spark was placed in you by God Himself. The darkness that now surrounds you is not your final destination. It is merely the landscape through which you must walk to find your true strength. It is in this very darkness that you will discover the resilience, courage, and faith that are hidden within you. The storm that rages inside your soul, the tempest that feels like it will tear you apart, is not here to consume you. It's here to refine you. You see, you have been chosen by God for a purpose far beyond the pain you now endure. You may not see it yet, but He has already laid out the path before you. Each tear, each sleepless night, each moment of anguish is not wasted. They are stepping stones, building blocks, forging a foundation that will support the purpose God has ordained for you. The fire within you will be reignited, and when it does, it will burn brighter and stronger than you ever imagined. Remember this: no storm lasts forever, and no night endures without the promise of dawn. Just as surely as the darkest hour of the night gives way to the first rays of the morning sun, so too will your heart, now shrouded in darkness, be illuminated by God's light. His joy is coming for you, even now, in ways you cannot yet fathom. There will come a day when you will look back at this season of your life and see that the very things that tried to break you were the same things that made you unbreakable. Today, I speak to the warrior within you, the warrior who has fought battles unseen, who has weathered storms no one else knows about, and who still stands, though weary. I speak to the child of God who feels abandoned in the wilderness, lost in the night, and burdened by the weight of unspoken pain. I speak to the heart that has been shattered, not once, but many times, by the harsh trials of life. Hear me now. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not defeated. Though the darkness may seem endless, though the journey may be long and wearisome, you carry within you a strength that cannot be extinguished. You carry within you the very essence of God's power and love. Today, I want to show you how to navigate through these night seasons, how to walk through the valleys with faith, power, and perseverance, knowing that God has never left your side. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a victor in Christ. Welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into the Word of God to equip you for the battles of life, where we remind you of your divine calling and your unshakable purpose. If you're not already part of this journey, I invite you now subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss a word of encouragement, revelation, and truth from God's heart to yours. This is your time to rise, to reclaim your strength, and to walk boldly into the future God has prepared for you. Life is full of seasons, some filled with joy and light, others marked by struggle and uncertainty. There are times when it feels as though the weight of the world is pressing down, making each step harder than the last. The darkness around us can seem overwhelming, suffocating, and endless. In those moments, it's easy to feel abandoned, as though no one truly understands the depth of our pain or the heaviness of our burdens. But know this truth: God is with you, even in the night seasons of your life. Even when the clouds are so thick that you can't see His hand, even when your heart is so heavy that you can't feel His presence, He is there. Just as He was with David when he was hiding in caves, fleeing for his life from King Saul, and just as He was with Job when everything, his family, his health, his wealth was taken from him, God is with you right now. He hasn't turned His back on you. In fact, He is closer than ever, walking beside you in every step of your darkest moments. Psalm 23:4 speaks directly to these times. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Let these words take root in your spirit. You may be walking through a valley, but you are not walking through it alone. God is beside you, and He hasn't left your side, not for a moment. He is guiding you, even when the path seems uncertain. He is protecting you, even when the dangers feel overwhelming. You may not always see the way forward, but God sees the entire picture, and He is already working everything out for your good. The night is not your enemy. It is an invitation to experience the power, presence, and faithfulness of God in a way that only the darkness can reveal. It is in the night that your faith is truly tested and refined, for when the light fades and everything familiar slips from view, that is when we learn to trust God more deeply. The night seasons strip away our distractions, our crutches, and our comforts. They force us to look beyond what we can see with our eyes and tune into the truth that God is always working, even when we cannot perceive Him. In the silence, when it feels as though God is distant, that's when His still, small voice becomes clearer. It's in the quiet that He speaks to your heart, giving you the strength to keep going, to keep believing, even when all hope seems lost. The night may be long and full of trials, but take heart, it is not eternal. God's joy is waiting to break through at the appointed time, and when it does, it will sweep away the heaviness of the night like the morning sun dispels the darkness. Hear this: the pain you feel right now is temporary, but the joy that is coming will be eternal. Just as the dawn inevitably follows the night, so too will God's light pierce through your darkest moments. Your suffering is not for nothing, and it will not last forever. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt is but a chapter in your story, not the conclusion. The dawn is coming, it always does. Now, let me speak to you about perseverance, for this is where the battle is either won or lost. It's easy to trust God when everything is falling into place, when the skies are clear and the path ahead is smooth. But what happens when the night drags on? What happens when the sorrow is so heavy it feels unbearable? What happens when every step forward feels like an uphill climb, and you wonder if you can go on? This is where true faith is forged. Not in the easy moments, but in the fire. Not in the light, but in the night. Perseverance is the key to victory, and it is in these very trials, these moments of testing, that your faith grows deeper roots. It's easy to have faith when the blessings are overflowing, but it's in the struggle where faith becomes real. James 1:2 reminds us of this powerful truth. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Did you catch that? The trials you're facing, the ones that feel like they're breaking you, are not here to destroy you. They are here to build you up, to make you stronger, to refine your faith like gold in the fire. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt is part of the process. It may feel like your heart is breaking, but in reality, God is shaping it, molding it, preparing it for the great things He has planned for you. You are being forged into someone who is mature, complete, and lacking nothing. The suffering is not meaningless. It is the very catalyst that will transform you into the person you were always meant to be. Think of a diamond. It doesn't start off as something beautiful. It begins deep within the earth as a piece of carbon, ordinary, unremarkable. But through time, under immense pressure and intense heat, something miraculous happens. That carbon is transformed into one of the most precious, sought-after stones on Earth. Yet, that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, endurance, and the forces of nature working relentlessly to shape it. And in the end, that diamond shines brighter than any other stone, reflecting light in ways that no other can. You are that diamond. The pressure you feel right now, the heat of your trials and struggles, they are not meant to crush you. Though it may feel overwhelming, though it may seem like you are on the brink of breaking, God is not allowing this season to destroy you. Instead, He is using it to transform you into something strong, radiant, and beautiful. Like the diamond, the process is tough, but the result is something that cannot be compared to anything else. The challenges you face are molding you into a reflection of God's light. The world may see you as ordinary now, but God sees the brilliance inside of you waiting to emerge. He sees the strength, the resilience, the beauty He is crafting in you, even when you cannot see it yourself. The very pressures that seem unbearable today are shaping you into someone who will shine with a light that only comes from having been through the fire. The joy that comes after the night, it is a joy that words cannot fully capture, a joy so profound that it must be felt to be understood. It is the joy of waking up to the realization that through every storm, every valley, every tear-filled night, God was with you, holding you, guiding you, and strengthening you when you felt weakest. It's the joy of seeing the pieces of your shattered heart restored, the brokenness made whole, and God's promises coming to pass when you thought the night would never end. It's the kind of joy that fills your soul with gratitude, knowing that what you endured was not in vain, but part of a greater plan for your good. Psalm 126:5 speaks to this beautifully. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. Your tears, every single one of them, have not gone unnoticed by God. Your tears are not wasted. Each tear is like a seed planted in faith, a testament to your perseverance and trust in God even when life seemed unbearable. And here's the incredible part. God promises that those seeds will yield a harvest of joy. The tears you cried in private, the ones you thought no one saw, are seeds being watered by your faith. You may not see the harvest yet, but God is faithful, and His timing is perfect. Just as a farmer plants seeds in expectation of the coming season, your tears are preparing the soil of your heart for a joy that is on its way. The night may have been long, but the dawn is coming, and with it, a joy that will overflow. It's not just any joy, it's the joy of seeing God move in your life in ways you never imagined. It's the joy of witnessing His faithfulness after the storm has passed. It's the joy of knowing that He kept His promises, even when you felt like giving up. And when that joy comes, it's a joy that will overflow, a joy that cannot be contained, because it has been birthed out of your deepest struggles and your greatest faith. Think of the story of Joseph, a young man full of promise, dreams, and favor, only to be betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and left to rot in a prison cell. Joseph's night seemed endless. Every twist in his story seemed like another descent into deeper darkness, another betrayal, another loss. But what Joseph didn't see in the moment was that God was with him through it all. In the pit, in slavery, in prison, God never left his side. Every trial, every unjust situation was part of a divine plan far greater than Joseph could have ever imagined. In the end, after years of suffering and waiting, God raised Joseph up to a position of power and authority that no one could have predicted. He became the second most powerful man in Egypt, and through him, God saved an entire nation from famine. Joseph's night was long and painful, but his morning, when it finally came, was a morning of unimaginable joy, restoration, and purpose. His tears gave way to triumph, and so it will be for you. God will turn your tears into joy. Just as He did for Joseph, He will take the broken pieces of your life, the betrayals, the heartache, the setbacks, and weave them together into something beautiful, something meaningful, something that will glorify Him and bless you beyond what you can now comprehend. You may be in the midst of your night season, feeling abandoned or forgotten, but know this: God is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. He is orchestrating every detail of your life for good. Like Joseph, you may not understand why you are walking through the darkness right now, but God is moving. He is preparing you, refining you, positioning you for something greater. And when the morning comes, when God's light finally breaks through, you will stand in awe of what He has done. The very trials that seemed to be your undoing will become the foundation of your greatest triumphs. You will look back and see that every tear, every moment of suffering was used by God to bring you to a place of joy, purpose, and blessing. You may feel like you've been waiting for the morning for what seems like an eternity. You may be wondering, when will this night finally end? The weight of waiting, the ache of unanswered prayers, the silence it can make you feel forgotten. But let me remind you of this powerful truth. God's timing is perfect. Though it may feel like your prayers have gone unheard, like He has forgotten you, the reality is that God has not abandoned you. Not for a moment. He is right there with you in the waiting, working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. Isaiah 40-31 reminds us of His promise. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Even when joy seems distant, even when the night seems never-ending, God is renewing your strength. He is not leaving you to fight this battle alone. Even now, in the moments when you feel the most exhausted, He is giving you the endurance to keep moving forward. He is giving you the strength to keep fighting, the hope to keep believing. Your night may be long, but hear this, it is not endless. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not a distant, unreachable light. God's light is coming, and with it, joy, peace, and restoration. In the meantime, it's so easy to focus on your circumstances, to look around and see nothing but obstacles, heartbreak, or setbacks. But I urge you, keep your eyes on God, not on your circumstances. Don't let what you see around you shake your faith or dim your hope. Your situation may feel overwhelming, but God is greater than any challenge you face. Keep your hope anchored in His promises, not in the fleeting realities of the world around you. God has made you a promise, and He is faithful to fulfill it. He does not make empty promises. If He has said that you will soar on wings like eagles, then you will soar. If He has promised to renew your strength, then He is doing so, even now, as you wait. You may not feel it in every moment, but God is sustaining you, and He will bring you through this night. Here is the assurance we hold onto as believers. God is faithful. He is unchanging, unwavering, and completely dependable. Throughout all of history, God has never failed, not once, and He never will. Every trial you encounter, every hardship you endure, God is right there with you. In your deepest valleys, when the weight feels unbearable and your strength is gone, He is holding you up, carrying you when you can no longer stand on your own. Psalm 30:5 offers this beautiful reminder, for His anger lasts only a moment, but His favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. This is not just a promise to cling to in hard times, it is a guarantee from God Himself. The weeping you endure may feel endless, and the night may stretch on longer than you expected, but God's joy will come. It's not a question of if, but when. His joy is assured, as sure as the rising of the sun after the darkest night. You see, the night may test your faith, but the morning will prove his faithfulness. God's promise is not to remove us from the trials, but to bring us through them, to walk beside us, to strengthen us, and to give us joy in the midst of it all. His favor is for a lifetime, and his joy is waiting just beyond the horizon, ready to burst forth when the time is right. So take heart, even when it feels like the night will never end. The morning is coming, and with it comes the joy that only God can bring, the kind of joy that fills every empty space, heals every wound, and restores every broken piece of your heart. God's joy will replace your sorrow. His peace will flood over you, and you will stand in awe of how he carried you through the very thing you thought you couldn't survive. Every morning brings with it a new opportunity, a chance to begin again, to embrace a fresh start, no matter what happened yesterday. Lamentations 3:22-23 reminds us of this beautiful truth. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. What a powerful reminder that, no matter how deep the night was, God's mercies are new every single morning. This means that every day is a gift, a chance to let go of what weighs you down and to step forward in the confidence that God's grace is enough for you. His mercy is enough to cover your mistakes, your regrets, and your failures. His love is enough to heal your heart and strengthen you for whatever lies ahead. When you wake up each morning, you do so with the assurance that you are not defined by your past, by the mistakes or hardships of yesterday, but by the promises of God that stand firm today. You are not bound by your failures because God's faithfulness outlasts them. You are not held back by your weaknesses because his strength is made perfect in them. Every morning, God offers you a clean slate, a chance to start again with his love and compassion paving the way. His mercies are never ending. They are renewed with each sunrise, inviting you to walk confidently in his grace. Now, I speak directly to you, yes, you. Hear this word of fire burning with truth and power. The Lord is calling you to rise. You who have been weighed down by the burdens of life, you who have questioned whether your faith is strong enough to see you through, God sees you. He sees your heart, he sees your struggles, and most importantly, he sees your potential. In the midst of your battles, your doubts, and your weariness, God has never taken his eyes off you. This is not just another message to stir your heart and fade away in the noise of the world. Let it ignite something in you, something that moves you to action. This is a call not just for you, but for the countless others who are struggling in silence, feeling the weight of their calling and wondering if their faith will hold up. There are souls battling in the dark, crying out in places where no one else hears them, but God hears them, and he sees them just as he sees you. So take this message and don't keep it to yourself. Share it, spread it. Be the voice that reminds others that God sees their faith, that he honors their perseverance, and that the reward is on its way. You have no idea how many hearts are desperate for this word of encouragement, this reminder that they are not alone, that God has not forgotten them, and that his promises are still true. Be the light in their darkness. Let them know that their faith is not in vain, and that their breakthrough is closer than they think. Go forth today with this unshakable truth. You are chosen, you are called, and your faith, no matter how small it may seem in this moment, is far more powerful than you can imagine. Stay connected to God, the source of your strength, and trust Him in all things, both the known and the unknown. As you walk in faith, even in the smallest steps, God is working in ways you cannot yet see. Let your faith, though it may feel as tiny as a mustard seed, be nurtured by your trust in Him, and watch as it grows into something immovable, unshakable. You are about to witness the mighty hand of God move in your life in ways beyond anything you've dreamed of. Doors will open, breakthroughs will come, and obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will crumble before you. Remember the words of Jesus in Matthew 17:20. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Your mustard seed faith, planted in the soil of God's promises, will grow. And as it grows, nothing, absolutely nothing, will be impossible for you. Stand firm in your calling, step forward in faith, and know that God is with you, guiding your every move, preparing the way for victories you haven't yet imagined. The impossible is becoming possible. That's all I wanted to say in today's video. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. If you found value in what I shared, please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss out the word of God. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.